Welcome to a hard effort. A hard effort is played in groups of 5. You can start with one table with only 5 participants, or choose for 4 to 5 tables for groups up to 24. But basically, there is no limit to the number of participants. So far the record stands at 350. The game is all about questions and answers. Answering questions, however, is not without obligation. You have to put in effort. Here's an example of how a hard effort works. Let's say the topic is traffic safety, and a question reads, what would you do first to make traffic safer? The first in line responds, I would make broader streets. The second one says, I would increase streetlights. The third one says, I agree with the broader streets. Unfortunately, you may not repeat the arguments, so he forfeits his turn. Okay, let's just show some mercy and ask to look for an extra edge. Third answer is now, I would ban all cyclists from City Street. The fourth and last one was digging deep in her creativity and came up with a winner. I would change airbags into bayonets. A typical example of thinking out of the box. The idea will of course never be reality, but it puts your mind to think. The rule that you may not repeat arguments is an important way to guarantee that there is enough diversity in answers. But there is another trick to achieve diversity. Therefore, the questions are slightly based on the thinking heads of the Bono. We give questions a color. The blue questions will ask for facts and figures, and will often start with, do you know how many? The red ones will look for opinions, feelings or gossips. Why do you think he is doing that? Whereas the green ones will ask you to come up with revolutionary ideas. If you had 1 week of total control over the company, what would you change immediately? Black questions ask you to play the devil's advocate, while yellow ones ask for a positive view. Finally, purple questions ask about action. Have you ever actually experienced such a situation, and what did you do? Or what did happen? Each group of 5 sits around a board. This is a single-use board on which people can take notes. The boards come in 2 different designs, one for a conference table and one for a classroom table. Players have all a counter and several efforts. Each player places 1 effort on one of the colored squares in the middle. The player whose turn it is picks up a question card and mentions the color. He reads the question out loud. Now the other players can, in turn, give an answer to the question. An important rule of the game is that players cannot agree with each other. They cannot repeat arguments. If they do, they will be banned from answering this particular question. When all players have thus answered the question, the player who read the question will decide which player wins the question. He can do this within his own criteria. For example, he agrees with one of the answers, or, on the other hand, is surprised by an answer, or he just likes the color of one of the player's eyes. The winner places his effort on a green square in the middle. It was a green question, you remember? Then an action card is taken. All players with an effort on the red square move their counter forward by 1 position for each effort. In this case, only number 2 moves forward. The set of questions is either standard or tailor-made. This means for a specific company or event on a specific subject you want to explore. One of the most popular green questions is this one. If you would have to compare your company with an animal, which animal would you choose? You can imagine that we have heard many snakes, snails, lions and elephants. People share images and really get to talk to each other. They try to outbluff the others with an even more spectacular example. So participants will say much more than they would in a more formal boss-employee talk. Within a short time you find out a lot of what is going on in the company, and quite often that's much more than management had thought there was.